Determination in achieving your set goal and objective contributes to your success in life. For Alhaji Aliyu Umaru, who hails from Udochi, Etsako Central Local Government Area of Edo State, is a self-made man with instincts of divine intervention as he progressed through life. Born in 1951 to a father that was not lettered, the determination to fill education gap, hence Aliyu, the first son in the family of 8, went the full hog to meet that need. In a very stimulating and interactive session, Aliyu Umaru took us down memory lane on his birth and growing up days.
Nothing spectacular. Well, I'm number 3 in the family of 8. I think my mother had about 12, lost so many, we are told. So I'm the first male of the family. We are 2. As I said, nothing spectacular about my birth, nothing that I was told that was hair-raising or something foretold, something Nostradamus about my birth. I used to say somebody predicted it was going to come and all that, nothing. It was just the normal thing. An inkling was my sister is late now. She was a twin, and then she died. The other twin died, and I was told that I was the one coming to replace that, and that I have gone to prepare and come real good. This is the story I was told.
Even though his father was an ardent Muslim with the study of the Quran, it did not restrict little Ali to the choice of school right from the elementary period. Even though he attended a Christian school, he has remained a Muslim as he narrates his encounter with his dad as a young child.
I was pampered by my father. My father read the Quran, an Islamic scholar. He wanted the best for me. But one thing I had always said, that in the village, he read the Quran and didn't make anything out of it. So he wanted his child to be educated. So he pampered me. I give you a simple instance. Maybe by today I would have been a Christian. When I got into primary school in my village, my father said to me, do whatever you are asked to do, provided you get education. I don't know how he came about being passionate about education. He was an illiterate Western education. So Reverend Fathers do come to our school. It was St. Patrick's Catholic School and so on. Reverend Fathers do come and we join them to say Mass and so on and so on. At the point in time, I was a Mass servant, so to speak. So there was this Easter day, and my uncle, my maternal uncle, killed a crocodile. And this crocodile meat was sent to us. Naturally, I eat with my father, and I'm the only one that eats with him. So the crocodile was cooked and meal served, and I was eating with my father. And then he now gave me meat. And I said to him, no, I'm not going to eat. He said, why? I said, today is Easter, whatever, we don't eat meat. He said, how do you mean? I said, no, in the church and so. He said, you mean you have gone to the church? And I said, but you said I can do anything. He said, no, I didn't send you there. This meat, you must eat it. And I don't want to hear it again. You know how people in the village, how they do these things, they are so... and that ended by being a Christian, to live a part of Christianity. So that is the much that I had growing up.
Lack of funds to pursue secondary education is probably considered a weakness, but for young Aliyu, it turned out to be a strength, as his journey to Lokoja brought out the potential in the young lad.
I entered 1957, but don't forget at that time, you must use your right hand to cross to your left ear. That's when I started, when it touches it. But then mine didn't touch quite well because I was very young. And the teacher then said he saw potential in me that I believe I can make it. So that's how I was admitted. As I said, my father was very interested that I get educated, but he was a poor man. I finished in 1963. I was to go into secondary school, but there was no money. Okay. I had to repeat 1964. No, 1962 I was to. Then 1963 I repeated. I was to go to St. Peter's College, but he cannot afford. Then a friend came and we were discussing one day, and he said, there is this standard primary 7. You know, in our place that it was primary 6. That there was primary 7 that people do in Lokoja and so on and so forth. That was how I found myself in Lokoja to go and do primary 7 because there was no money to go to secondary school. And that was how I got to Lokoja and so on and so forth. And when I got to Lokoja, I did primary 7. I was living with somebody, and the guy actually saw that I was not a dullard. But he too wasn't buoyant enough. He had his children to train. And he regretted and said, well, there's not much I can do for you. And I went into all he could do for me was to put me in the stenography school. Okay. And I went into stenography, and when I finished, I got employed in Inland Waterways, Ministry of Transport. Actually, I can tell you the first salary I earned went to Rapid Resort College, London. I don't know what inspired me. I just, that, in those days, there were, education. Yeah, post office, you can post something to anywhere and you get, you register, they send you materials and you write. That's why it was called correspondence course. It has always been on, and they were sending me things and so on and so forth. That was, my life didn't start with the regular 4-wall university, secondary school and all. That was how I got my GCE.
Alhaji Aliyu Umaru's working career started from the Bank of the North, where he stayed for 4 years. In his quest for more knowledge, this multiple chief, fondly called Udwewo of South Uneme clan, has multiple degrees in management, law, English from the prestigious University of Lagos, all with brilliant performances. Still not done with that, his curiosity and exploration once again led him to study journalism and his certificate in pedagogy and andragogy, and finally capped his academic pursuit with a master's degree in international law, also from Unilag.
When I left Lokoja, before leaving Lokoja, the guys I met in Inland Waterways, I became their teacher, those who didn't pass English language. Those who went to secondary school. They couldn't, some of them, we had a big library in Inland Waterways, and I became their tutor. They were paying me, and from that payment, I was paying my school fees. So that was, coming to stenography, when I left Lokoja, I went to Bank of the North. Employment is not like today. How did I get employment in the bank? I stayed in Lokoja. There was a lady who actually inspired me, one Mrs. Semberu, I don't forget. In fact, it's in the book I'm writing. She was the head of my section. She always looked at me and said, this is not your place. Believe you me sincerely. She always tell me, Umaru, this is not your place. I can see you going somewhere. This is not your place. So I stayed there. I took a telephone directory. Telephone directory in those days, yeah, you have all the addresses of banks, companies and so on. I just wrote an application to the Bank of the North from Lokoja, posted it, and I got invitation for interview. And I got there, I knew nobody. In fact, it was a colleague of mine who even told me the brother lives in Kano. I should just go there, and I went to Kano. The guy housed me. I went for the interview, came back, and I was taken. I was in the bank for about 4 years, and then, I don't know what was pushing me. In the bank, I was doing very well, I must tell you. I rose to the position of advances officer in the bank. You want a loan, I will go and inspect your property. I will write, the report, submit, and so on and so. Incidentally, I met one Edo guy who was the legal advisor, Abiri, I don't forget his name. And I will take to him. I go to the courts to go and do the mortgage and all that, perfect it and so on and so forth. So I was doing exceedingly well. Exactly. I wanted to actually please my dad wherever he was. He was one who actually inspired me. If an illiterate could always tell me, please, go for education. Go for education. And I thought that he deserved to share from my success. So that was pushing me. And I'm a lover of books, really, I must tell you. I want to read, I want to, So after that, I was not really fulfilled. And I said to myself, money is not everything. I've always had this mindset from the beginning. I'll make a lot of money from the bank. As at 1975, yeah, to 78, yeah, towards the end of 78 when I left, I think my salary was 190 something pounds. That was a lot of money. That was a lot of money. So it was not because some of the people we were employed the same day used to come to me for financial assistance. And Allah is wonderful. We were employed the same day, 12 of us. I was the only one left in Kano City. Me from a bush place. I was the only one left in Kano City. The other people were posted to villages and so. Not that I had anybody. I didn't know anybody, as I said. I didn't have a godfather to say, okay, that was the person that was pushing it. So, and I decided, I said I must read more. So I went to the university to get my diplomas. I went and all that. And after getting my degree in English, and I said, these journalists, they are too proud people. What is there? What is the problem? Why are they like this? Everybody shout, yo, journalists, this and this. Let me go in there and see what is there. I remember the first time I got to the class, and my teacher was asking me, and he said, what are you doing here? You know, the lecturers will get to know this, get to know that. I came into the class, I came with my jeep and all that and all that. What are you doing here? I said, I just want to know what is there in journalism. Let me just get the idea. So I went in, and the guy respected me for that, and I went through it and got out to the glory of Allah. Yeah. It's just like when I was in the university, my supervisor, Professor Kimboye, I remember now, I think he's staying in the University of Lagos. Each time I submit my work, the first thing he would tell me, and he has always said it to me severally, he say, Umaru, do you know what I like in your work? Your language. He's always telling me, what I like in your work is your language. I love your language. I said, thank you so much, sir. So, and I think it's the glory of God. I thought so. I wanted to go for it, but you know, I started my career in civil service, and I discovered that it's not challenging. Civil service is not challenging. That time, it's not challenging. So much bureaucracy. Something one person can do in a jiffy, you find 10 people trying to do it, and they begin to postpone here and there, you begin to... So probably that was why. So I decided, look, let me stay in my corner. I've acquired all the knowledge I want to acquire. Let me stay in my corner and do my business, earn my living. I'm not an ambitious person. I don't want to acquire millions in this world. And as you can see, I'm a kind of introvert. So, pedagogy and andragogy. A lot of people don't even know what it is. Pedagogy is the teaching of children. How to get children focused in their education. How do you get children that are challenged? How do you teach children that are challenged? Then andragogy is the teaching of adults who have lost interest in education. How do you revive it? Adults, in fact, the etymology of that word is Greek. Andragogy is Greek. So, is teach people, adults who are no longer of school age, how to revive their interest in education. How do you... So it was easy for me because at the time I was also reading. I was getting to adulthood and I was just going. So it was easy for me to know, based on my personal experience, to be able to impact that on others.
Born in 1951 to a father that was not lettered. The determination to fill education gap, hence Aliyu. As a civil servant, he had a stint as the Secretary General of Andrological Workers, banking, and presently in the maritime industry. But why not foreign service based on his qualifications?
As I said, Ministry of Transport, Hydrological Branch, Lokoja. We used to go to navigate the River Niger in those days up to Yola. Could stay about 6 months on top of water. Civil service is the same thing all over. I used to come to Lagos here in those days to the headquarters to come and do one or two things. Marina, that was the headquarters of Ministry of Transport. And I think it still is anyway. So it's basically the same. People are so stereotypical. People are so fixated. No challenge. Nothing challenges you, your intellect. You want to do something and say, look, let me add something to it. It's not there. Because that time, you know, we have, although they call it, I don't know what they call it now, but what we had then was GO, General Order. So, and whatever it is there was the gospel truth. You don't go beyond it.
This Etsako-born Nigeria has continuously served its fatherland in several capacities. A past president of Etsako Club 81 gave him an opportunity to contribute his quota to national development.
I think we had some very glorious moments. We had this clan tour for the first time in the club, which I organized, toured the 13 clans, and it was an eye-opener. We saw, in fact, people back home saw us as their messiah, because over a period of time, politicians will come, we will do this, we do that for you, and that will be the end. They will never see them again until the next election. And nobody cares, you know, to sympathize with them or to empathize with them about their condition. Then that was a roaring success, really, because most of us who have not been to other clans, even within the club, now saw the difference and they could compare, you know, what they were doing. Then we also had this NTA issue. NTA was given to Edo North, and it became a problem between Auchi and Ozaire. It was first, the administrative headquarters was supposed to be in Auchi, or it was actually supposed to be in Auchi. But when they got there, the technical people, they discovered that transmission from Auchi was difficult. So they now went to Ozaire, which was nearer, and discovered that the reception was marvelous. And they decided to install it there. The Auchi people now say, no, even if you had installed it there, it must be called NTA Auchi. We had this problem lingering for a very long time. The government waited and they couldn't succeed. We referred the issue to the traditional rulers, Council of Traditional Rulers. They do not. They couldn't solve this problem. There was a long jam. And I said, something must be done, and I took it up. I went one-on-one with the Otaru of Auchi. I said, look, Auchi has been known for a very long time. You have nothing to lose. When I was a young person, even up to now, any Etsako person that goes anywhere, they say, where are you from? You say, I'm from Auchi. What do you need more than that? You have been celebrated. You are already known. So even if it means that we now have to extend the development to other areas, well and good. It's your credit. And I said, you are a past president of Etsako Club 81, a good one at that. And we got inspired through your leadership. So what do you want us to tell? I now said, oh no, you have hit the point. I will give a second thought to it. And I went to the Guinea of Zaire. I said, look, you don't need to fight over things like this. It's not necessary. Talk to that one again, pacify him, gave some emollient words, and they all keyed into it. And the next meeting we now had, which was, which we now played host, got everybody seated. Of course, we have done the underground work, really. And then we now came, the announcement was made that it was now accepted.
What motivates his philanthropic gesture?
You see, something about philanthropy is something that's embedded in one. You don't need to have all the world to be able to give. No. Let me tell you something. I had an experience in my village. We went there and there was this contribution to the school. We were asked to contribute to buy a band for the school or whatever, my alma mater, one of my alma maters. And as we were contributing, there was a secondary school boy. I contributed, you know, what I could contribute. Well, a secondary school boy who came and donated 500 naira. And when I was to speak, I told them that the highest donor was that boy. If that boy could part with 500 naira, essentially it was an Islamic, it was really this Islamic something, that boy could part with 500 naira from what he has, then I have not donated. So you see the way the thing goes. Everybody was looking at me. I said he was the highest donor. Forget about some of us. Look at the ratio, you know. So things like that, you don't need to have all the world to be able to be a giver. I think also it takes grace of God to be a giver.
How has the numerous knowledge and certificates he has acquired contributed to the success of his career?
It has helped me a great deal because I have that exposure to quite a number of things. If I want to do my international trade, for instance, today, it is very easy for me. I know the nitty-gritty of it. I know if I ask you to ship some goods to me and you don't ship them on time, I know where my interest is, my rights are. And if there are damages, you know, on the high seas, I know who to hold. So that is it. As they say, there's no knowledge lost. In anything you do, you will find that whatever knowledge you have acquired will come to play. Will come to play. I always tell people that there is no, even if you want to be a carpenter, acquire some knowledge so you will be a good carpenter, especially in today's world. So if any profession you want to embark on, try to study and know it perfectly well and get exposed to other branches of knowledge, so profession, so you gain a lot.
As a key player in the maritime industry, what counsel does he have for all on the present state of the economy?
You see, it is rather unfortunate that our government, not just this government, the government before it, they don't take certain things seriously. Certain things other people take seriously that adds a lot of value to their economy, to their government, to all the social structure. We tend to ignore them. Apart from oil, the other aspect of the economy that adds value to Nigeria is the maritime industry. We are import-dependent economy. All right? We are import-dependent economy. And as a result, see what is happening now. Containers all over the place, top of our bridges, in the port, everywhere. When I leave this house, it takes me about 3 hours to leave my house to go to Apapa on a daily basis. That is the number of hours it takes me to drive from here to Benin. You can imagine the man-hour lost. You can imagine how energy sapping that is on a daily basis. Why was the government sleeping when the Tinkan Island Road get dilapidated to that state? Where were they? And where were they when Apapa Road got that bad that Dangote and whatever are now fixing? Where were they? So government must be focused. If you want this economy to grow, we must look at the critical aspect of infrastructure that are related to that growth. What happens now is that what we are doing during my father's era is what we are still doing now, this age and in the 21st century, of putting a container down, because some will tell you offload it. Scanners can scan over 1,000 containers in a day. Then that will not allow the port to get congested. If you want to do physical examination, God help you if you're able to do 200 a day. You can see the disparity. Why are you not going to have congestion? People will load cocoa now and other perishable items for export. The container stays between wherever, whether Ogun State or something, coming to our port, the next 20, 25 days, they are not on board. And that is exactly what happens. It's so pathetic. I met one customs officers of mine, and sometimes we have meetings, and I put this question to him. I said, what is wrong? Why are your scanners broken down? And up to now, you have not taken. He said, my brother, we have written as an organization. Say we have been writing. How many letters have we written? No response. No, we cannot award those contracts. So that is it.
Chief Aliyu Umaru, the Ozemoya of Uzuare, is happily married to Ajia Aishat with lovely children, excelling in various fields of endeavor. He let us into how he was hit by the Cupid arrow.
Met my wife in my village as the first man in the family. Okay. My parents want me to get married. My mother was telling me, I lost my dad in 1972, and my mother was telling me, may God rest his soul. My mother was telling me, look, I want to have your child before I die. Story. What am I going to tell your father? As if my father was waiting for him. That's what Allah told her, I don't know. So, as you know, they arranged a girl for me. I got to the village. I saw the girl. I wasn't interested. I was to leave the following day. And my late sister now said, I remember there was this girl I saw, very pretty girl somewhere. Let's go there tomorrow. And lo and behold, immediately I saw her, I said, this is my wife. So I believe these people, when people say, immediately I saw the woman, I knew it was going to be my wife. It happened to me. And I told my sister, no, this is my wife. He said, are you sure? I said, yes. So that was how it came. That was how I met her. Yeah, I have 5 kids, 3 girls, 2 boys. And I tell you something, Allah is great. from the beginning, I never, well, not that I don't like, I'm a lover of children, but I wanted to have 2 children. And I said to myself, if I have a boy and a girl, that I was contented. And as if Allah was listening to me, I said, look at this stupid boy. First, I had a girl. Second, I had a girl. Third, I had a girl. You know, the typical African tradition. If the woman is not happy if he has not got a boy. I was telling my wife, look, I think I'm okay. He said, no, we must have a boy. I said, okay, fine. So we now had, luckily, we had a boy and a boy. And I said to her, finito. That was what happened. And thankfully, they're all doing well.
Alhaji Aliyu Umaru has several awards to his credit and service to his motherland. A past president of Rotary International District 9110. He is also a High Chief of Ogaino of Wepa Weno Kingdom.
I think it's inspiring. And it's an acknowledgement by your people for what you have done. And there's nothing as elevating as when you are recognized by your own people. That you have been able to touch lives, you have been able to contribute to society. I think it's good, and I feel honored, I feel humbled.
Rounds off our chart with counsel for all, both the old and the youth.
For those adults, let us be contented with what we have. There's a lot for people, but not a lot for their greed. What is happening in this country is greed. It's not because we don't have enough to go around. One person wants to acquire everything. Have you heard that some people these days, they go and celebrate their billions? Have you got a billion in your account? And people go celebrating that I've got billion. What for? What is it all about? This life that is so transient, ephemeral. You are here today, tomorrow are not here. Reflect. If you think back your life now, maybe 30, 40 years back, it's just like yesterday. How you begin to say to yourself, you mean I've gone this far? And each time I glorify Allah, if I take newspaper, people who are 50, 40, 57, they are dead. And you say to yourself, why did Allah preserve me? Am I deserving of this grace? So people are not thinking. No, people are not thinking of the hereafter. People are not, they just feel they want to acquire the edge that is so, let us pull back and reflect. This is my counsel for the elders. For the young ones, they should not give up hope, but they should be enterprising. Young people should be enterprising. So many people I see, so many young ones I see, they want to be dependent. They want to be dependent. They want to be spoon-fed, kind of bootstrapping. Why? You can't use, why do you think God gives you brain? Some children are even waiting for their parents to even spoon-feed them, even at their adult age. Some are just there because they say, my father is this, my mother is that. And they want to live on that glory. If your father and mother were like you, having that mindset, would they be who they are? So the younger ones should be innovative. And they should be enterprising. Don't wait for the white-collar job. And you try to explore the world through education. No knowledge is lost. So our young men should be innovative. They should be enterprising. And they should be serious with their lives.
We salute this true Nigerian, an educationist, director Osome Microfinance Bank, a true leader, member of the 4th Estate of the Realm, cheerful giver, as our icon of the week on the Guiding Lights.